Alright, now let's look at how we can insert and update data, right, in our database. First, I'd like to teach you using the manual method, alright? So we are in our database. As you can see, we are in our course app database, and we are currently in the users table, right? So when you click on insert on the menu, where is it? Alright, insert. And over here, you want to insert from here, right? Where the values, alright? Just the values. Don't worry about all these. Just focus on the values. And the first one, because you set it to auto increment, you're not gonna touch it, all right? So over here, let's just go ahead and put some values here. I'm gonna say email. I'm gonna say Kobe B at virtual, all right, virtuallines.com. We're still sticking with our domain, all right? And then this is our virtual domain, by the way. Password, we just do 12345. Then full name will be Kobe. I don't know how to spell his last name though. I don't know. I think it's Bryant. And then spending amount, I will just say 1,000. Now if I click on the go, see what happens. A query is generated, right? A query is generated that says insert into users. This is the name of the table, right? And then followed by the names of the columns here, right? ID, email, password, full name, spending amount, right? So into bracket, it follows by the it's followed by the names of the columns, right? Then values, right? Value is one of the syntax words that you're gonna call for inserting row, and you can see it says one row inserted, right? Now when you say values, the first one was null, right, because we left it null, and then we followed it by the names of the values, all right? And what I want you to pay attention here to is the ID is the first one in the value, all right? The email is the second one. The password is the third one, right? So you can see it needs to follow the sequence, all right? If I put email here and then here I put the full name here, I'm going to get an error, all right? So these are the we can build queries from here, all right? You can build queries from here, all right, and run it. You can see we are inside SQL right now. We are on the SQL tab, right? So we can basically create our statements from here and run them. All right, we can build a select statement, we can build an insert, we can build an update, we can build a delete statement. So what I'm going to do, I will just go to browse and show you. These are the values that have been inserted now, right? So this is basically the interface method, all right, the user interface method. Let's try to do this using our code, right? Because basically you're going to be getting that values from forms, and then you're going to be writing queries here, and then the queries will be sending them to your database, all right? So I'll go ahead and take this out. We don't need them because we're already using and usually what you're going to do is you probably create a file, all right? You're going to create a file called db, all right, connection, right? db connection, like so, right? .php. I forgot to put a .php. Let me rename this real quick. db connection .php, all right? And what you're going to do basically is you're going to be keeping these, all right, inside it, all right? Excuse me. So I'll go ahead and do that. I will just go ahead and copy this, all right, and put it inside here, all right? So you have a file that is only keeping your connection information. You see that? Great. And then when you come back here, all right, anytime you want to use it, all right, you just include it. So here you're going to say include, all right, then you open up your include function, all right? Remember we talked about this, and then you just type the name connection, all right, inside .php, right? And then now you can start writing your statement. You see how clean this is? It's pretty clean, right? So you don't have to be copying and pasting the connection all the time, all right? Great. Now everything I'm showing here is procedural, and we're not going to use this, but I want you to understand it, all right? So basically you're going to create an insert statement, and what I want to show you quickly is this. when you get stuck, I don't expect you to remember everything that we are doing here. Personally, I'll be honest with you. I know a lot, but I don't remember everything I'm teaching you here. All right. Now, developers get stuck all the time. All right. We got a lot in our head. All right. And we got things to do. Right. And we get stuck. And when you get stuck, you have to go and find your way out. Right. Now, what it takes you to find your way out is what makes you a good developer. All right. I'm going to be honest with you. All right. Now, let's say you want to do a simple thing like insert values into a database. You can get stuck. It doesn't mean you don't know. You probably know it, but you probably forgetting a function, or you probably forgetting where to put a comma or something. Now, what you should do is you have to go online and find your way out. All right. I'm trying to teach you how to do things by yourself, right? I'm not just going to go ahead and explain things to you, and at the end of the day you forget and you get stuck and you said, oh man, I forgot what this guy taught me. How do I go about it? No. We're not doing that here, right? Now, if you go online, all right, if you go to W3 schools, you click on PHP, you come down here, you're going to see MySQL databases, all right? You can find your way out from here, right? Now, if I click on insert data, all right, because that is what we're working on, you can see the syntax here, all right? And you can see how it's being used. This is object-oriented MySQL, all right? We're not using this. We are using the procedural MySQL, right? And you can see we have done mostly what they've done here, right? So what I want us to pay attention to is this sequence right now here, all right? So we're going to be doing something like this to insert data, right? So let's go back to this one, and it's some people will use small letters, but it's advisable to use capital cases, right? At least for the names of your syntax, all right? So it's insert, all right? Insert into, all right? And then you call the name of your database, all right? We got to confirm that real quick. It's users, right? Users, all right? And then followed by what is called, we just have to open up a bracket, all right? Then inside the bracket, we're going to pass in the names of our columns, all right? That is what we have to do. We need to pass in the names of our columns here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right? And you don't have to make a mistake here. If you make a mistake, you're going to get it wrong, all right? Now, we're going to get back to that real quick. And then we have values, which is also part of the syntax, right? So we will values, and values will also be in a bracket, right? And basically what you want to do here quickly before you forget is already you know the number of columns you have, right? So we got 1 comma, right? This has to be a comma, then 2, then comma, then 3, right? Comma, 4, right? Then 5, all right? And then we just type the names. It's got to be we got to close this. All right, now the first one is ID, all right, followed by email, all right, and password, and then full name. I guess I'm gonna verify this, by the way. Full name, and then followed by spending underscore AMT amount, right? Now I'll have to verify that real quick. So ID, email, password, full name, spending amount. I think we're good. All right, now inside here will be your values. All right, the first one is going to be null. All right, this is for the email, the ID. All right, so followed by email, we can say scurry, right? We already have for Kobe, so scurry@virtuallines.com. Then the next one will be the password. We can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the full name. I think his name is Stephen Curry, right? And then inside here, the spending amount. Let's just put something here, right? Now we've created our query, right? But we gotta put it in a variable. We gotta put this in a variable called query or SQL or whatever name you want to use, right? we got to put it in a variable called query, and this has to be in a quote like this, right? So we have created our query, right? Now what we want to do is we want to send this query statement to our database. All right, so what we're going to need a function for that. We're going to need a function called MySQL underscore query. All right, so this function takes two parameters. All right, this is a function that you're going to use to send your query statement to the database. All right, so this function takes two parameters. First is the connection, all right, because it has to open the connection first before it passes this data in, right? So you're going to say, we're going to call the name of the connection, all right, which was connection. That is a variable holding the connection. All right, if you don't do that, you'll have to type all this in there. And imagine if we did not have these here, then you'll have to type these in here and all this in there. You can imagine how crazy your query statement will be, right? So this will be the connection, right? So as soon as the connection opens, then followed by our variable that is holding our query, right? So like so, right? Now, if we want, we can keep this also in a variable, right? We can keep this in a variable and call it maybe run underscore query. You see that? Yeah, we can do this. We can just say, hey, listen, run this query, all right? And then we can now check if the query was successful or not, all right? So we can say something like if, all right, if, and then we open this, and then we put if the query was successful. Right, then we can echo something like data has been inserted in your table, right, or database. Let's just say database, right? But if the connection was not successful, so we're going to say else here, right? The connection was not successful, echo something like data, just echo something. I don't have much time, all right? And then we got to put a semicolon here, and then we got to put a semicolon here. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to call a function called MySQL underscore close, I guess. Yeah, close, MySQL close. And basically we want to close the connection, all right? Remember to always close your connections after you send something, you open it, all right? So SQL close, all right? Now I believe this should work, all right? Let's just test it real quick. First of all, we're gonna go to our browser, all right, and see if we're having an error, all right? So we got a whole lot of errors here, all right, and these errors basically have to do with the connection. It's like we're not getting the connection. The include is not working on line 141. You can see everything here is on line 141, all right? So let's go to line 141, all right, here, and I think this has to be in a code like this. Yeah, let's confirm the name, dbconnection.php. Yeah, this should work. Let's see. All right, so we get database connection was successful. I think that was what we were getting from the try and catch, right? Yeah, this is what we're getting from the try and catch something. So let's go. We're not getting an error, so let's go to our database and refresh and see if we're getting the data. All right, so we're not getting the data, so we need to see why we're not getting the data, right? You know what? Let's go ahead and write this error, make it a nice error. Sorry about the notifications. I'm getting a whole lot of notifications. All right. Let's just say that let's just make this a clean error, right? So data could not be excuse me, inserted, right? So now, and also let's try to disable, right? Let's try to remove that error, the other error message we will get from the database. All right, So we'll go to, and then we'll just comment this out, right? Because we want to see a clean error. We want to see why we want to get in it, right? So if I go back, right, let's save this. We go back to our, so we said data could not be inserted. All right. Now here you have to be careful here, right? I got my include working. I got my query. I got my everything working, but I'm still not getting it. So this has to be something that has to do with this statement. All right. So insert into users. That's correct. ID, email. Now that's not how to spell email. Email, all right, then password, then full name, then spending amount. Let me just confirm if that spending amount is correct, right? Spending amount, all right, we got that. Values, is that how to spell values? Yeah, values, then null, and whatever. I think this should work. I mean, I see no reason why this should not work. So we're going to save this. All right. And we're going to go to our browser and see. All right. Data has been inserted in your database. So if we refresh this, we should get it. We should get it. All right. So we saved it like 3 times, I guess. All right. So we have SQL. All right. So this is working. So it's working for I think the problem was the spelling of the email. All right. You can see how just one spelling mistake can mess up your whole application, right? Now we're going to do something called update. All right. Update is when I'm just going to go ahead and remove this while I explain to you. Update is when you want to update a record, right? So these are records. We got 2 records here. When you want to update a record that has already been inserted, right? Excuse me. So that's what we're going to be doing, right? And we're going to use the let's start from here. We're going to be using the update function, right? The SQL update, all right? So you're going to say update, all right? And then you call the name of the table, right? So this is going to be users, right? And then you say set, all right? Set is part of the update function, all right? So set and followed by your column name. So let's say we want to change what do we change? The full name here, right? Let's say we want to change the full name. So we're going to go small. We're going to go full underscore name, all right? Set full name equals then the value that you want to put in there, right? So we can say full name, and then we pass in, let's change this from Stephen Carey, right, to what to say, Chris Pauls, right? Chris Pauls, right? And now basically you're going to be editing somewhere that a record already exists, right? That's what you're going to be updating, right? So you're going to say where, you're going to use the where class, all right? You're going to say where ID, all right, equals, now you need to check Paul's Chris's ID, right? Chris's ID is 9, all right? Look at it here, 9, all right? Now you're going to put where ID equals 9, like so, all right? We need to keep this in a query, right? So we're going to say query, all right? And let's just differentiate. We're going to say query update, right? And then we're going to put this in a quote like so, all right? And then we're going to close this right here, all right? I'm going to close this right there. And then so what we've done is, this lecture is getting long. I think we're going to continue from the next lecture.